Okay, they wanted to utilize this opportunity to wage a war on the Britishers and to, okay, and to particular, gain their goals of independence. So the revolutionaries, when the moderates and extremists, they were carrying out nationalistic political activities within India. The revolutionaries during the World War One, when the Britishers were fighting outside India in the Europe, the revolutionaries wanted to utilize that opportunity in getting independence from these Britishers. So what the revolutionaries did is that they are going to be, means we'll look at it in a new chapter totally altogether, but what I want to tell you is that the revolutionaries, they during the World War One, they had the intention to bring revolution within the country, so that when the Britishers have their attention focused in Europe, a revolution brought within the country could help defeat the Britishers. So they wanted to bring in revolutions in various parts of the country. So that is going to be the idea. So when such revolutions, when the revolutionaries are planning some such things, obviously the Britishers would not want that to happen. And because the Britishers do not know that who are the revolutionaries and who are not, so what happens is that during the World War One, the Britishers, they are going to create policies of repression and suppression, and these policies, they were very much oppressive in nature. They are going to arrest the people, okay, various people, under a law that they created, and that was known as the Defense of India Act 1915. So under this, the Britishers, they started arresting people, and very little liberty was left with the Indians. Okay, very little liberty it was left with the Indians at that point of time. Okay, so this was a very big issue that we were facing, okay, during that point of time. Moreover, the decades passed since mass movements, reducing the morale of the masses. Okay, and uh, Besant and Tilak knew that mass movement needed to start, or else self-confidence will reduce. So the Home Rule movement was started. So from here only you can clearly understand that it had been more than 10 years now since a mass movement like Swadeshi and boycott was started in India. And if much time was taken now, even more time was taken now, then the confidence within the people, it would have gotten eroded. That is why the Home Rule movement was started. So that was the one another aspect. Okay, so what was the aims and objectives? We have clearly understood it here. Okay, just have a glimpse of it, guys. I'll just sip water. Just have a glimpse of it. All right. So here, when we talk about the aims and objectives, what do we understand? Their aim was to have self-rule within the British Empire. So they do not want independence. As per Home Rule, they do not want independence but want self-government. And this self-government they wanted like Canada and Australia. Okay, Canada and Australia, okay, and the other countries, okay, of in which the British had the colonies. So in those areas the Britishers had given self government. Okay, so we were of the objective that even we want self government. Moreover, the aim was to convey to the common man the concept of home rule as self government, because people were yet not aware as to what is the self government. Actually the people were not yet aware. So because the people were not yet aware, these home rule, through the home rule movement, the leaders wanted to convey a clear cut message to the people. They wanted to bring awareness amongst the people that we need to do a movement, and the movement that we are doing is this. We aim to achieve this, and when we are aiming to achieve this, that means self government. Self government means this, and in self government this would be there. in self government that would be there, and this is how self government will be much more beneficial from the prevailing political system. That is why we want self government. So that was the idea that they were telling. Okay, moreover, the home rule wanted to convince the British that if they grant India the home rule, then India would become very much strong, and when India becomes strong, it will help the British in the wars. Okay, it will help the British in the wars in the true sense, because without self rule India is not that strong. So if you give India the self rule, India will become strong, and India will full heartedly and in a very much strong manner help you in the fighting the war. So that is going to be the scenario that these people are going to be creating, and these people are going to be telling. Then when we talk on the methods, so it was a peaceful constitutional movement. That is what I told you. Okay, I've explained the constitutional. The home rule leaders, they did not want to create any difficulty for the British government when the empire was fighting for its existence. Okay, it did not want to create any difficulty. Okay, that is why it was in a less charged, okay, less charged, but it wanted to be in a much more effective way by demanding all this. However, Gandhiji did not support it, because in spite, okay, in spite of the, okay, in spite of it telling that it did not want to create any issue for the, it did not want to create any issue for the British, yet if the movement is happening, the Britishers would be somewhat conscious, okay, and somewhat of their attention would be diverted. So they used newspapers and journals to spread ideas, and Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Annie Besant, they are going to use their journals and newspapers. So Bal Gangadhar Tilak, he had Maharatta in English and Kesari in Marathi language. So these were the journals that were, published by Tilak and Besant. Next is the, sorry, Tilak, and here Besant is going to have New India and Commonweal as her journals and newspapers, and she is going to preach, means within these particular journals, what they are going to preach, they are going to preach their ideologies. So Bal Gangadhar Tilak, in his journals, he is going to talk about Swaraj, he is going to talk about linguistic provinces, okay, he is going to talk about vernacular education and everything, and same she is also going to be talking. Okay, and here whenever I talk about journals and newspapers, so we have also seen one point that majority of the nationalistic leaders, they supported whom? Besant. Okay, so when Besant is focusing on, spreading information through her New India and Commonweal, similarly when majority of the leaders are supporting Besant, so majority of the leaders, okay, they would be also promoting Besant's home rule branch ideas in their newspapers also. Why? Because at that point of time, not only Besant and Tilak would have newspapers and journals, but the other nationalistic leaders would also have their own newspapers and journals. Okay, and they also conducted peaceful rallies. Okay, peaceful rallies were also conducted. These are going to be the methods. Now, the home rule movement, okay, let it be how much ever, okay, let it be how much ever, the let it be how much ever thinking that they did not want to create attention for the British, but yet what would happen is that the particular Britishers would be suppressing the home rule movement, because it was a way of creating nationalism in India, and because of home rule movement, nationalism was strengthening in India. So that is why what the Britishers did is they are going to, bring in various steps and measures to reduce the home rule movement. Okay, so that is going to be the challenges, okay, in front of the home rule. Now when we say that the home rule, it started in the year of 1916, but the home rule, it got, so but the home rule, it got declined, the home rule, it got declined by the time period of 1917 1918. Okay, by the time period of 1917 1918. Now what were the various reasons for the decline? We should also be looking into that. The first, but let's cover the government suppression. How did the government actually suppress the home rule movement? So they suppressed it. The home rule soon attracted government anger, and in June 1917, Annie Besant was arrested, and popular protest